All right, I call this meeting to order at 4:05 p.m. Everyone in attendance, please state your name and title, starting with Senate President.
Oscar Santiago Perez, Senate President.
Isabel Ponce, Member at Large.
Wilson Roberts, Majority Party Leader.
Tony Lou, Member at Large.
Joaquin Rafael Cecilio Marcelino, Deputy Minority Party Leader.
And Nathan McGinnis, Senate President Pro Tempore, with 6 voting members present. We have reached quorum. We'll go right ahead with our first interview, which is Bianca, I believe. Yeah, so I'll go grab her.
Hi.
Hello.
Where should I sit? Right
Anyway,
here.
Blake.
Awesome.
All right, so you are aware this is being audio recorded. So for the record, could you please state your name and what you're applying for?
Yes, my name is Bianca, and I'm applying for the open graduate seat.
All right, perfect. To start off with, what is your motivation for applying?
So I was a grad senator before, and I really loved the position, but I didn't really have the resources to do a lot with it. It's a really underrepresented constituency, and I just kind of didn't really know how to go about it. But now that I've been in my grad program for a year, I've joined other organizations specifically with the graduate school, with my graduate program. I finally have the resources to actually be able to reach out to a bunch of different groups, hear what graduate students need, what they're looking for in student government or just from their school in general. And I'm very excited to bring all those connections and all those conversations into the Senate chamber.
All right. And what experience do you have that would make you a good fit?
Yeah, so like I said, I was a senator before, so I've done this whole thing. But I would say the biggest things are all those orgs that I've been involved in. So for example, I'm in the Political Science Graduate Student Council, and through there I've been able to meet people from GAU, I've been able to meet international students, so I kind of got a feel for what international graduate students face. I'm in state, so I don't really have to deal with funding or research and stuff like that, but I've been able to meet people that have and kind of learn what that process looks like and how we can help. I'm also in the Rights Union Board of Managers, so I've been kind of the voice pushing for graduate spaces across the campus, specifically at the Rights Union. There's a lot of empty rooms, specifically the police station downstairs, and we're trying to figure out what to do with it. So I've just kind of been pushing to make that a graduate student space. And those are just a couple of positions that I've been doing and what I can do to advocate for graduate students there.
And what ideas do you have?
So my biggest thing is kind of collaborating with the graduate student orgs. Like I said, it's a historically underrepresented constituency, and the senators that we have had, maybe at least when I was there, we didn't really know how to go about it, how to reach out to other orgs, how to reach out to students, that kind of thing. But now I can take my connections from the Political Science Graduate Council, the overall Graduate Student Council, GAU, Rights Board of Managers, and I'm looking to kind of form collaborations between Senate and those organizations to really have serious conversations with graduate students about what we can do for them, see what actual things the Senate chamber can come together for, and hopefully deliver.
All right. And do you have any questions for us?
No questions.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, guys.
Thanks.
All right, the next interview is a phone interview. Also, I'm going to ask you to call. Not this one. This one.
And who is it for?
It is Sadim for graduate. Oops, sorry.
Hello?
Hello, this is Nathan. Are you ready for your interview?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sorry about the inconvenience with your experiment, but hopefully this goes quickly for you.
No, you're good, man.
First off, for the audio recording, can you please state your name and what you're applying for?
Sure. Sadim Kresat for the graduate Senate position.
Perfect. And to start off with, what is your motivation for applying?
So I did a fellowship with the Congress back last fall, and I enjoyed it. Meeting constituents, drafting bills, and I thought I might be able to help fellow students here and do the same, but on a local level.
All right, nice. And what experience do you have that would make you a good fit?
So I had work multiple organizations, similar programs back at University of Texas and the I&C Center. I was with the Student Association as well, and the most recent one is the Congress internship at DC, which is the one that aligns most with position. Yeah.
All right. And what ideas do you have?
So in the application I listed, I'm not sure if you guys looked at it, but I listed probably reaching out to students for opportunities, or reaching out more to students for ideas, and not waiting for the constituents to come in, but I'm doing something similar with the Neurosurgery department, where we send out surveys to listserv for students and the genetics and genomics program, and we got really good feedback to plan like events and not bills, but more of guidelines to things that we need to do in the department. So I'm comfortable with expanding these to the student body at GF.
All right, thank you. And do you have any questions for us?
Mainly, the first question is for the medicine position. I think it's filled, right? College of Medicine.
I believe it is, yes.
Okay. And where are usually the meetings? Like, which part of which building?
So it's usually in the Right Student Union on the ground floor. We have a Senate chamber near the new UF sign.
Got it. And time-wise, is it like in the evenings or during the day?
So it's regularly on Tuesdays at 7:30.
Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Perfect. All right.
All right. Well, thank you. Hope you have a good rest of your time.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Give us a couple minutes before our next interview.
When's the next interview?
What, sorry?
You said when's the next interview?
It's in 1 minute, so. Let's see, she's out there. Jacob, you ready? Of course. How are you doing?
Good, how are you? Where should I sit?
Anywhere along here. So, this is being audio recorded, so for the record, could you please state your name and what you're applying for?
Yes, my name is Jacob Sadesi, and I'm applying for the Journalism Senate seat.
All right, to start off with, what's your motivation for applying?
So I actually was born and raised right here in Gainesville. My mom has worked for the university my entire life, so it's kind of cliche to say like I bleed orange and blue, but it's true. This university is a big part of my life. My parents both went to grad school here, and now I'm kind of fulfilling the prophecy, I guess, by coming here as a student. And I've really been enjoying my time, but at the university at large, but my experience within journalism has been really complicated, and I've noticed a lot of issues that I really wanted to take a stand on and take care of. So that was kind of my motivation to want to be a part of student government. I feel like I want to have that impact and really expand the resources that are available to students.
All right, and I meant to do this for the first interview, but if anyone else would like to ask questions?
What qualifications or past experiences do you have that would help you in this role?
So most of my experiences are in leadership. Specifically, of course, I would be serving the journalism students. I'm very active within my college, and I understand all the majors and areas of study. I'm very familiar with all of our offerings, specifically with our news offerings. I've worked as a producer and anchor for WFT News, which is, of course, like the PBS and NPR station that our college runs. So I've done a lot of work there. I've led teams of reporters, and I feel like I'm looked up to by my colleagues within the college. And you know, I have an understanding across various organizations. As far as policy goes, I've been involved with, in the past, Microsoft. When I was a teenager, I worked on their Council for Digital Good. So I was one of 15 teens, and they flew me out to several conferences, and I spoke and worked with them on policies for child safety and preventing abuse online. And now I'm in a similar role with Snapchat, and that's actually a life term. So I'm working not just with teens, but with experts from across academia and cybersecurity and various aspects, working on the latest policies to protect youth online. And of course, that's a very narrow field that I'm working in, but you know, I have that experience with policy and working with groups of people to come up with solutions.
What ideas do you have?
Sorry?
What ideas do you have?
My ideas. So a lot of my ideas are very centered within the College of Journalism and what I can do for, you know, the people that I share experiences with every single day. One thing that I've noticed that's been a really big struggle for students within my college has been access to cameras and equipment. You know, the cameras are available only to students who are in certain higher level classes. I've taken cinematography and various classes that enable me to have this equipment, but since I'm not enrolled in one of those classes right now, like my career kind of stops. I don't have access to the equipment that I need, and it's very hard to come by. And you know, journalism is essentially, it's a trade school. We learn a trade and a set of skills. It's not like a science or anything like that. So it's harder for us to get a job coming out of college without having a portfolio or reel of content that we created during our time. And so I really believe that it's important for us to work with the experts at the College of Journalism. They already have an equipment room. They have a set of prescribed equipment and things like that for their students. And I just want to make that more available and expand that to anyone who wants it. I would like to put some money in that direction to help make sure students can work on whatever projects they would like for their time in the college. I also know that several students have expressed interest in grants for films and other projects. I'm not sure what our scope is or what the possibility of that is, but it's something I'd really like to work on. I know that we have a lot of different programs that are student government funded, like student government productions and accent speakers and things like that, that create content and experiences and events for students. And I really would like to, you know, sponsor more multimedia content and make that a student experience, and, you know, make it a way for us to rally the students together and come see what, you know, our colleagues have created.
All right. And do you have any questions for us?
Yes, so I'm curious about what it looks like if I'm to be accepted. Is there like an acceptance? I know, like, being a journalist, it's a little bit difficult with, you know, the conflict of interest. I believe, I mean, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't confident in my ability to separate my work interests, but I know I have to get it cleared with my job. So what does the process look like between now and, you know, me assuming a seat?
Well, assuming that we vote to approve you an RNA within 24 hours, I'll send out an email for you and say you're selected. And then at the very next Senate meeting, which would be Tuesday at 7:30, we'll vote. And if you're approved, from then on, you're a senator.
All right, thank you so much.
Of course.
I think that's it. If you all don't have anything else for me.
All right, well, thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you all.
Let's see, would you like to get Christian? for the audio recordings going on, can you please state your name and what you're applying for?
Yeah, my name is Christian Gibran, and I'm applying for a College of Liberal Arts and Sciences seat.
Perfect. And to start off, what's your motivation for applying?
So my motivation for applying to Senate would have to stem from like what I've seen Senate accomplish these past couple of years as a student here. I remember sometime last year, Senator Pelton passed a bill that related to protecting our Florida Bright Futures, which I think is super important and affects almost every corner of our campus. And additionally, I remember our current student body president, Olivia Green, back when she was Senate president, drafting and passing a bill protecting or showing the Student Senate support for the Field and Fork Pantry. So kind of issues like that have a universal impact on our student body, I think is super important for our Senate to kind of advocate for and help our students feel welcome and at home here.
And I'll open the floor.
What previous qualifications or experiences do you have that might help you in this role?
Yeah, so over the summer I was a public records intern at the state attorney's office up in Jacksonville, Florida. So within that I learned a lot about like the political aspect of our government and like drafting bills and dealing with like the political nature and the climate within our state specifically. So I feel like that kind of correlates over well to our student senate and how we try our best to combat the political nature of like the U.S. national like politics with how it affects our student body. And then in addition to that, I hold multiple roles within our student government. Within like I'm a vice chancellor of marketing for the Student Honor Code Administration, and then a vice chair of graphic design for Action SG. So just issues like that have kind of opened my eyes to the impact of student senate.
What ideas do you have?
So I brought back the packet from before. I did run out of 3 pages, so I don't have the implementation plan this time, but I still have like the marketing plan. So I'm just gonna pass this out to all mine. Here you go. Thanks. Thank you. So the first one being the Gators Green Task Force is kind of focusing on like transforming our campus into a greener and more sustainable environment, whether that be through like a wide variety of initiatives led through this task force, which would need like support through Senate, whether that be through like bills and resolutions. So like important implementation like ideas that I have for that task force would be like focusing on energy efficiency and waste reduction, and then also like renewable energy integration, whether that be through like an additional like number of solar panels within like our buildings on campus, kind of like help that sustainability aspect that the task force would try to accomplish. And then also like implementing campus-wide programs and initiatives and utilizing partnerships and grants to kind of help fund and make this issue attainable for us to like help resolve. And then moving on to the mental health day, that would just involve enhancing like our counseling services and like having a day where we can like focus on the betterment of our student body in terms of mental health. I know it's a huge issue on most college campuses, and especially one as academically rigorous as UF. I think it's super important to kind of focus on what we can do as a Senate to help these students who kind of feel lost or feel like they don't have anyone to reach out to. And then that can also translate into peer support and then integration through like our education in terms of like more understanding of the mental health impacts of coursework and how it isn't just like the coursework that from this one class, but we have a whole schedule of courses that we have to like balance. And then that can also just like translate into like training the faculty and staff or like utilizing more partnerships and resources to kind of help like make this issue like solvable and like do what we can to help students, which could also translate through like workshops and seminars. And then my next idea, which would be the One Student Body, like a DEI campaign, would focus to create an inclusive and diverse environment on campus with initiatives led by the DEI campaign, which would be kind of like cultural festivals and events, educational panels and workshops, curriculum inclusion, representation in our leadership, and then partnerships and mentorship to kind of help students kind of have someone of an older class to help them as incoming freshmen. And even for our current students, to kind of help them feel at home through these like cultural events on campus to kind of remind them of like their families and not make them so homesick. And then my final idea would be ensuring an accessible campus. So that would be a collaboration with the DRC to enhance our campus accessibility and promote inclusivity for our students with disabilities. And we'd have multiple initiatives led by like this accessibility campaign, which would include like inclusion of accessibility features, more ramps, and more like alternative routes that are less out of the way for these students with disabilities. And having like awareness campaigns and workshops to kind of like destigmatize the whole idea around how we can like work with students with disabilities and kind of like just destigmatize the issue as a whole. And then also just focusing on like peer mentorship and how we can help our students kind of feel welcome in our student body, so they're less isolated. And then just a partnership with the disability service organizations to kind of like get our message out there that we stand in solidarity with students with disabilities and how we can help them throughout their time on campus. And that's all I have today.
All right. Do you have any questions for us?
Not at the moment, but thank you all for taking the time for me today.
Well, thank you.
Y'all
Have a
have a
good
great
rest of your
day.
day.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, the next interview, Max reached out, but he's still at work, and so won't be able to make it. And I offered to maybe, oh, he just got back, around 5:15, where our last interview is supposed to end, that he calls then, if you're all okay with that.
Yeah.
All right.
And who is that?
You would be the next person apply
Max
on the
Cap.
agenda. Yeah. So instead, it'll be at the end. Just remind me of why it's stricken. Judge me.
Sorry.
All right, so that means our next interview will be with Elizabeth, who is a phone candidate.
Do you have her number?
Yeah, 1 second. Call her at 4:30.
I feel like this is the longest minute I've ever had to wait.
Hello.
Hi, Elizabeth. This is Nathan. Are you ready for your interview?
Hi, yes, I'm ready. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
All right. This is being audio recorded, so for the record, can you please state your name and what you're applying for?
Yes, my name is Elizabeth Inswasti, and I'm applying for the open Senate position representing the Liberal Arts of Sciences College.
All right, perfect. To start off with, what's your motivation for applying?
So my main motivation for applying is because I wanted to get more involved in student government and sort of be that voice and advocate for students in that level of a position. I've worked in a lot of advocacy roles before coming from my previous education, and it's something that I feel like I'm good at and would benefit to do at UF.
What experiences do you have that make you a good fit?
I was a dual enrolled student at Florida Atlantic University, and in that position, I acted as a student representative where I had to meet regularly with FAU officials within the Department of History, and I essentially helped coordinate fun Department of History events for students to get connected with faculty, primarily in the research area, but I think the skills that I learned in how to communicate and be a representative of student voices will come in handy in this position at UF.
All right, thank you. And what ideas do you have?
So some ideas I have is to have a female faculty panel or event where female faculty can come and speak on their experiences in academia to the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and just sort of be a connecting point with any interested students to learn more about the work that they're doing at the university.
All right, and do you have any questions for us?
Yes, I do. So beyond just the meeting every Tuesday, what are the tangible requirements, I guess, that I'm supposed to include?
So besides the meetings, there aren't set deadlines. There are constituency requirements for your specific college, such as going to organization, tabling for Senate, but outside of that, there aren't any set dates unless there's a special meeting called.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I would write it down and schedule it if there were set dates. But thank you so much.
Of course. All right, well, I hope you have a good rest of your day.
You too. Thank you so much for your time.
Of course, bye.
Bye.
All right. I'll grab one. You ready?
Yes, I am. Alright, this is recording, right?
Yes.
Alright, good.
So, for the audio record, could you please state your name and what you're applying for?
Holden Finn Zeichner. I am applying for the open seat, permanent Senate seat, in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences.
All right, to start off, what's your motivation?
My motivation primarily comes down to the fact that I believe that I can make positive change institutionally and in the services provided by the student government for the benefit of the student body. When I look around, I see that the systems in place could be reformed and could be improved. And my mind always wanders to ways to improve them and ways to make them more efficient, more serving of the people, ways to make them more longer lasting. I think of ways to make them check and balance one another. I think of ways that they can just... You okay?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. Overall, I just think that the University of Florida student government is a flawed but ultimately well-meaning body that can be improved for the betterment of the students, and that they can be overall more transparent, overall more serving of the bodies, and that we can have an actively politically engaged student body that can make decisions over what they want and what they need, and can allow them to have government that they can be proud of.
I'll open the floor.
What past experiences or qualifications do you have that might help you serve in this role?
Okay, well, I have the, in high school, I was a member of the YMCA's Youth in Government program. That was a program in which high schoolers from across the state were brought together, and they were brought into a mock legislative session. That taught me the skills of Robert's Rules of behavior, how to debate and speak publicly. I also have a lot of experience in public speech and overall generally how to talk to people in a oral manner, like oral persuasion, at least in a formal context such as this one. I'm not really sure how well I'm at it at like small talk and such. But overall, I do have experience in Robert's Rules of Order and oral experience, as well as generally just a good experience of political institutions and how to reform them.
What ideas do you have?
My ideas come to the, well, here's some ideas I have. For one, in terms of services that I want to provide to the student body, I would like to provide, for one, a 24-hour food service area where you can go to get food whenever you may be studying out late or something. I haven't seen any place like that on campus, and I would be the person to know where that is. Secondly, I would like to provide free laundry services to all people on campus, because I believe that should be something that should be included in their tuition packages, as well as for rent and housing, so that everyone on campus should be able to use laundry as they please and be able to essentially clean their clothes without having to worry about, going bankrupt, even though it's like only a few dollars, even though it's only like $1, it's still a little annoying for people. And I think it would be, a nice positive change that would help them gain confidence in the student government. For institutional reforms, I would like to propose a system for adding constitutional amendments. It would involve a constitutional amendment itself, but I think it would be well worth it. Basically, my idea is that we currently have a system of referendums where students can submit petitions to essentially make a referendum. But the Constitution states and the law states that those referendums can only be as binding as a resolution of the Student Senate. My idea is to make those petitions be expanded to constitutional amendment proposals, like ballot initiatives, similar to what we have on the state level. That would mean that we would be able to effectively propose constitutional amendments that the student body would want, that the Student Senate, for whatever reason, may not agree with, but are broadly popular among the student body, and they could get enough petitions and signatures and reach a certain voter threshold, like around 60% as state law mandates, or maybe 66%, that they could get that amended into the Constitution and could have the legislative change that they want, and could have the structural changes that they want, such that the student government better represents what the student body wants at that time.
All right. And do you have any questions for us?
Okay, yes. I actually do have a question for you all. I would like to ask, why are you all so gridlocked?
That's a long, complicated answer.
Okay. This will also be transmitted to me. The results of this meeting will be transmitted to me in about 24 hours, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And this audio recording is available on can be available via public records request or by just asking you directly, right?
Correct. In my email to you, I did say that.
Okay, yeah, I'm still waiting on yours, from 2 days ago, but I can understand.
No, I responded to your email.
Oh, you did? I didn't see it. Okay, I'll check. Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Wonderful day.
Thanks too. Take care.
You as well.
All right.
All right, next up, we have Evan for budget. All right. Well, we'll wait 5 minutes until it's time for the next interview.
Do a follow-up.
Yeah, I guess I'll follow.
Let me pull up the Constitution real quick, though. 'Cause I'm pretty sure there's something there. section 2.
Yeah. No, yeah, we discussed that last time. Well, are you all enjoying the meeting so far?
It's not bad.
This is going faster than I expected.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good, like pretty quick. Usually there's only one or two that take longer than 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That last question
Even
though
so.
was kind of
Yeah.
funny.
It's like, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
got real.
Apparently you haven't responded, though.
I have the email.
The
pulled
guy
up.
who doesn't check his email is
So
telling you
true.
you didn't
I have it pulled up right here. I have my email.
I constantly check my
I thought he read it because his answer, like, is correct that you can get from public records asking me. That's explicitly what I told him you could do. So I thought he read it. I was like, yeah, that's what I said. Whatever.
Sorry, I was just like counting out loud. Sometimes it's easy.
Don't worry, I do that too. Sometimes
Oh.
when I do like addition, I'm like,
Evan will be unable to attend, unfortunately. So, you can see if Hannah's out there. We'll start early.
I mean, if she's not bad, I still have people out.
So,
What the hell?
"Hmm?"
Yeah, just getting 2 different counts and now I'm not.
She's not bad, though.
Yeah.
she's got 2 minutes.
Who's the next one up again?
If I were to go to run to use the restroom, would we need to call a recess? Because I can wait, but
Technically, yes.
okay, I'll wait then.
I mean, when's the next interview scheduled at?
In like
2 minutes. Yeah.
Just wait.
Who was it for again? Is it hot now?
Yes. And that is a double interview.
Yeah.
What's this? Oh, this. Oh, yeah. This?
You know, just have it automatically there.
No, because if I send out like over the listserv, it just kind of messes everything up.
Really?
So I have one that's no logo and one that is logo.
Oh.
Yeah, have you seen my emails with the logo that always come out amazingly? The
Yeah.
quality of that
I
SG
know.
logo is so
Why
crunchy.
is that so?
I don't know.
My SG logos always look kind of crisp.
Yeah, mine do too.
Huh?
So mine do too.
Yeah.
Alright, see if she's out here again.
Nope, she's right there.
Oh.
She's looking through the window.
Perfect timing.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Alright, so this is being audio recorded. So for the record, can you please state your name and what you're applying for?
Hannah Ali, Information and Communications, and Budget and Appropriations.
Alright, so we can either do one at a time, starting with budget and then R&E, or we can do, actually no, they're different questions. So yeah, we'll do them one at a time then.
Okay.
Starting with budget.
Okay.
So first off, what's your motivation for applying?
I'm motivated to apply because I feel like I've been a representative of student orgs since my freshman year. I've realized that a lot of them are underfunded, and I've realized over my time within student government and as a student leader that a push for student org funding is really important. So I believe that my role within student government and on the Budget and Appropriations Committee can solve this problem that I feel like I resonate with and a lot of other students that I represent resonate with.
what previous experience or qualifications do you have previously that could help you as well?
So I serve with the treasurer for Hearts for Henna, so I've been able to work with DocuTrack. I've been able to do like event transfer, line item transfers, things like that, so I've had that experience within Treasury. I've also done it for volunteers for International Student Affairs, so I kind of just know the process, and I believe knowing that process is like the best experience that you can get, so yeah.
And what ideas do you have?
So I think my main idea that I have is just a seminar on organizational event funding, just kind of realizing like how like budgets work, how funding works, how it's allocated to the students. I think that just promotes that transparency between student organizations and our budget. So I think that's something I would really love to kickstart if I'm like invited onto the committee. Another thing I would like to do is just a class on overall, just the overall budget as well, like maybe a course or like a seminar that is done by SAI. I know that we already have something like that, but maybe kind of expanding on that, just because I feel like a lot of organizations don't really still understand the processes of like how our budget works. So just expanding on those learning things.
All right. And then, so we'll move on to the technical questions. First up, what is the difference between operational budget and event requests?
An operational budget is used for general body meetings, and then an event request is used for special events that are held by the organization.
And what are the big five?
The big five are the SAI, Student Government, Rec Sports, Rights Union, and Sorority and Fraternity Affairs.
What requests does the budget committee cover?
Operational, travel, event, and last one is like I think it's line item, sorry. I was blanking on the term.
And then when does the student government fiscal year start and when does it end?
July 1st to June 30th.
Okay. Do you have any questions for us?
No, thank you so much.
All right, so we'll move on to the I&C, correct? Yes. First up, what's your motivation for applying?
Oh wait, just a question. Did you say R&E? Because I applied for
I&C.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So my motivation for applying for I&C is just because I've had a lot of marketing experience and a lot of like that type of experience in the past, and I feel like I best resonate with I&C. I've worked a lot within creative design. I've worked a lot with just marketing, and I feel like that my experiences within these things can really help transform the University of Florida Student Senate's marketing and Instagram and everything that entails that.
What experience do you have that'd make you a good fit?
So I have a lot of experience with this. So I'm the marketing chair for Rangila Ross, which is a Garber Ross competition held in Tampa, Florida. It is held by the University of Florida. We work with different dance teams all across the United States. So being able to work on marketing for this kind of makes me like qualified in the sense that I know how to reach to such a large audience. So especially from the United States, I've gained over since June of 2023. We've gained over 500 followers since then, and it's only been a couple of months. So definitely working on that marketing team has kind of enhanced my experience. Another experience that I've had recently is working on the TEDxUF creative team. I was both photographer and just creative designer, meaning I helped transform the Instagram. I made sure that our products were just marketed well to attract viewers and attract traction within the university. So those are my main two experiences within marketing.
And what new ideas do you have?
Some new ideas I have are senator takeovers. I think it would be a really good idea on the Instagram is just kind of seeing the day of a life of a senator. It doesn't even need to be really Senate related, just seeing like how student government runs beyond the scope of like what we already see. So just within like everyone's like daily lives, like how they balance student government and their actual work life. I think that would be a great way, and like, you know, it would get to allow students to know who they're being represented by. Another thing that I think would be really great is just keeping up with the Why Senate Wednesday. I've really noticed that like we haven't really been really consistent with it. So I think if we're able to like do it every Wednesday, it would promote a lot of like like it would just be really a promotion for the UF Senate Instagram, and just overall kind of just making our Instagram look a little bit more lively, because I just realized that like I kind of noticed that we didn't really have a lot of traction on Instagram. So I think those are my two main ideas.
So next we'll move on to the technical questions. First up, what are the events that I&C is supposed to plan each semester, and when do they need to be held?
So the new senator orientation needs to be held 2 weeks after, 2 weeks after elections are already placed, and then the other one is Senate retreat, which is from 2 weeks before exams are held till whenever we get approved for student senate. So within that time frame.
And how long do you have to post an open seat?
You have 24 hours.
And do you have any questions for us?
No.
All right, perfect. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
Trying to see if Abigail's outside. Check to see if Abigail's outside.
Who?
Abigail Whitaker.
Oh.
Hello. So you're aware this is being audio recorded, so can you please state your name and what you're applying for?
Yeah, sure. My name is Abby Whitaker, and I'm applying for a committee seat within either Rules and Ethics or Budget Appropriations.
All right, so we're gonna start with budget and then we'll go into rules and ethics.
Okay.
So first up, what's your motivation for applying?
My motivation for applying for both these roles is to better represent my constituency, and by getting more involved within the Senate itself, I feel like I would be doing that. Also, I know that tensions can get pretty high in Senate sometimes, and by increasing collaboration with other senators, it would be more beneficial to everybody to create those sort of professional and efficient relationships.
And what experience do you have that make you a good fit?
For the Budget Committee, I have previously served as the head of operations for a small business, and in doing so, I have gained the experience managing a budget and managing the finances for a company, which I know is not necessarily the same thing, but I do have experience with it. And then as a freshman leadership experience, remember last year we were given tasks that we had to plan events, manage the budget for those events, and make sure all of the finances were distributed between a bunch of different categories for that.
And what new ideas do you have?
One idea that I had for the Budget and Appropriations Committee was to have experts in the field of finance or politics come in and but give us some guidance in relation to dealing with our large budget, because I know that could be helpful to some of the committee members, and just to gain experience and connections with those professionals as well.
And we'll move on to technical questions. First up, what's the difference between operational budget and event requests?
Operational budget is for general body meetings and stuff like that, whereas event requests are for any other special meetings that the organization wants to put on outside of those general body meetings.
What are the big five?
The big five are rec sports, student government, the rights union, SAI, and sorority and fraternity affairs.
What requests does the budget committee cover?
Operational, travel, line item, and event.
And when does the student government's fiscal year start, and when does it end?
It starts, I believe, on July 1st and ends June 31st. Yes.
All right. Next, we'll move on to rules and ethics. First up, what's your motivation for applying?
Well, as I stated earlier, I do want to get more involved in the student government and within Senate itself. I loved being on the Rules and Ethics Committee last year, and I feel like I served well in that position, and I wanted to put myself out there again for that role.
What experiences do you have that make you a good fit?
Besides previously serving on it, I also am a flex director for this year, so I've had the experience tracking the involvement of our members, which I know would be beneficial in this role.
And what new ideas do you have?
One idea that I had was sort of kind of what we've been doing in Senate already, was to build in a time at the end of each of our meetings, and I'm not sure if this is possible within the Rules and Ethics Committee, but it's one that I had overall. Build in time at the end of each meeting to go over our voter records and make sure that everybody has the right information and how they voted, so that we're not turning in incomplete voter records, because I know a lot of people struggle with that. I'm pretty sure that I've had them as well, so making sure that doesn't happen as much as possible.
Right, and then we'll move on to technical questions. First up, how many absences can you get before being expelled from Senate?
So for fall and spring senator, or for this fall and the spring terms, it's 4 total and 3 unexcused. And then, 3, yeah. And then for the summer term, it's 3 total and 2 unexcused.
And, sorry, I forget, can you remind me what your constituency is?
Yeah, so I was a District A, or I'm serving as a District A senator, so my constituency requirements for that are...
Before you answer,
yeah.
The reason I asked, I'm going to ask you for a different constituency.
Oh, okay.
So could you tell me the constituency requirements for a college senator?
A college senator?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. It's 1 SG funded event, 1 SG event, and then 2 hours of tabling, and then an event for within their college as well.
All right. And do you have any questions for us?
I do not.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, guys. I know you're all very busy, so.
Thank you.
Yes.
What's the makeup of the budget committee right now?
Let me pull that up real quick. Obviously, Blake is chair. Wells in it. Owen, Mega Bush, Samantha Kingard, Colin Lash, Angelo Gongano, Ana Alvarez, and Rajmia. There's 1 seat open.
Gotcha.
All right, now Annabella did email me saying she will not be back until late today and asked for an interview tomorrow. Said that she could do a phone or virtual interview, and she has not responded to that.
Who is this?
Annabella Vigna.
Okay.
She would be next for I&C. So I don't have reason to believe that she'll be here. So if you'd like to take a quick recess, because the next interview is not for 10 minutes, if you need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I moved to a 10-minute recess by unanimous consent.
Any objections? Hearing none, see you back at 5:10. All right, I call this meeting back to order at 5:10 p.m. Attendance once again.
Oscar Santiago, Senate President.
Isabel Pons, member at large.
Wilson Roberts, Majority Party Leader.
Johnny Lee, member at large.
Joaquin Rafael Cecilia Marcelino, Deputy Minority Party Leader.
Okay, the minutes, Senate President Pro Tempore with 6 voting members present. We have reached quorum. I'm going to start with our next interview. So we can either grab Anamika.
Not around.
Nothing? All right. Well,
Who's next?
next will be Max, who's on the phone. And I got a very timely email from Annabella Vigna with a phone number for a phone interview. So I guess we'll do that last after Max. If everyone's okay with that.
Did you reach out to her or
No.
extra? Or did anybody else reach out to her additionally? No? Coincidental.
Alright, in the meantime, you can get...
So I have 2.
2, 2, 2, 3.
Hello?
Hi Max, this is Nathan. Are you ready for your RNA interview?
Yes, sir.
All right, so to start off with, this is being audio recorded, so could you please state your name and what you're applying for?
My name is Max Kappelman, and I am applying for the open class senator seat.
All right. To begin, what's your motivation for applying?
I just see a lot of places for innovation and positive change on campus, especially when it comes to transparency, compromise, compassion.
All right. What previous experience do you have that'd make you a good fit?
Yeah, so I have experience with community outreach and a bunch of different clubs, both leadership and working within it. So I was previously the secretary, which is an executive position for the Philosophy Society. I work with the Flipping the System group, which is the sexual assault awareness group on campus. I am a member of the Secular Student Alliance, and I am also a member of the Speech and Debate Club, which also gives me some experience with public speaking and speaking in a public forum. I also work at the Publix, which gives me, experience with working with others and working with people on a day-to-day basis. And I also have canvassed and worked with multiple outreach groups for political candidates, so I'm not experienced with the political side either.
All right. And what new ideas do you have?
Yeah, so I have 2 main ideas that I want to bring forwards. The first would be a compromise bill for a 24/7 Library West. What that would consist of is basically taking the ideas of both Gator Party and Change Party. Gator Party wanting the provost to pay for it, and Change Party wanting it to come out of the student government budget, and would either split it one of 3 ways based upon deliberations. It would either be by semester, so the provost would do fall and the student government would do spring, or what could also happen is that student government or provost, just one of the parties does during the week, the other does during the weekends and during holidays, or whatever stipulation helps, as long as it facilitates that compromise that will allow inter-party cooperation. The second piece of legislation that I had in mind would have to do with transparency, specifically to do with the UF alert system. And basically it would expand the UF alert system, specifically the email capacity, and it would send out emails when construction starts around campus. So obviously it's a big thing around campus when we are seeing no construction happening during preview or when people are touring, and it's a little bit deceptive when they get there the very first day and without warning there are multiple closures on streets. There are huge swaths, especially the right salon, just completely closed off, and it's completely without warning. Obviously, there are ways to look at that in public sites, but that is not transparency in my view, because obviously people aren't being actively informed about this, and obviously looking into it budget-wise, it would not be hard at all to implement, because obviously we already have the technology, and what we can do is just have extra people looking into it in terms of the construction. Obviously, University Avenue is also a big thing there where we're seeing, multiple parts of the street kind of closed off, obviously, without warning. And so just stuff like that, but also other events to that extent would also be informed over email.
All right, and thank you. Do you have any questions for us?
Not in particular.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you for being able to call in.
Yeah, happy to.
All right, have a good rest of your day.
All right, you too.
Bye. Until 5.
Hello?
Hi, this is Nathan. Are you ready for your interview?
Hi, Nathan. Yes, I'm so sorry. I responded so short. I was just trying to respond as quick as possible.
No worries. I'm glad you got in on time.
Of course. And thank you for being flexible.
Of course. So you're aware this is being audio recorded, so could you please state your name and what you're applying for?
Yes, my name is Annabella Vigna, and I'm applying for Information and Communications Committee.
All right. To start off with, what's your motivation for applying?
I really want to apply, and my motivation for applying for this position was because I have seen, not a lack of communication, but as a new senator, I wish I had more communication in terms of, Senate and, upcoming events and, constituency. So my motivation for applying was kind of to work with the committee to create more ways to inform senators, and especially new senators, of upcoming events and anything that's going on in Senate. I also wanted to create kind of a monthly newsletter for Senate that basically highlighted what we did that month, any upcoming events we have, reminders to fulfill your constituency. So that was my motivation for applying, to kind of assist in improving the communication within Senate.
All right. And what experiences do you have that make you a good fit?
So aside from already being in Senate, last year I worked for an apartment complex called Arrow on 24th, and I was an experienced team leader, and basically my role was communicating with residents, whether it was through email, whether it was through our system, and also managing the social media platform. So creating that content, informing residents of upcoming events that we were having, even creating flyers. So that was one of the experiences that I had in relation to communicating. Another experience I had was during senior year. I was actually the club chancellor of my school. And basically, I supervised all the clubs and honor societies and relayed any information. I also created any content for the school, flyers, newsletters. I created tons of Google Forms for upcoming events in order to make sure that everything was prepared, that I knew the head count, that I knew who would be attending, what supplies we would need. So basically, I had that experience as well in terms of creating content and communicating with the student body and the organizations.
All right, and what new ideas do you have?
So, as I was saying, one of the ideas that I had was creating a monthly newsletter for senators to basically highlight what we have accomplished in Senate that particular month, as well as, for example, any seats that are opened or any upcoming events like Senate Retreat or even any SG events that are upcoming, because oftentimes we are always so busy and we're busy with Senate and we're busy trying to fulfill our constituency that we don't even know what's going on in SG, like what events are occurring, especially for new senators. That was something that I struggled with when I was new. I had a lack of information as to what was going on, and I feel like if we provided senators with that newsletter basically highlighting any important information they need to know for the upcoming months, I feel like that would be extremely beneficial. And I've discussed with senators, other senators, and they've also felt that there's a lack of that communication and knowledge of what is really going on outside of the Senate chamber.
All right, and next we'll move on to the technical questions. First up, what are the events that I&C is supposed to plan each semester, and when do they need to be held?
So, did you say what are the two events that I&C puts on? Is that I didn't hear you that well?
Yes, I'll repeat it. What are the events that I&C is supposed to plan each semester, and when do they need to be held?
Okay, so they do the Senate retreat, and that needs to be held 2 weeks earlier than the first final exam. And then they also do Senate orientation, and it needs to be the minimum before the second Senate meeting of a new senator.
All right, and how long do you have to post an open seat?
You have 24 hours.
All right, thank you. Do you have any questions for us?
No, I don't. I just wanted to say thank you so much to you guys for being so flexible. I know I had a different time allotted to me for this interview, but I couldn't make that time. I had literally just gotten in, so I really appreciate everyone's flexibility.
No, of course. And I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. You as well.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, so would you like, we can either move right on to deliberations or we can take another recess, whatever committee decides.
I'm fine with the recess, but I would prefer that it be like maybe 5 or 7 minutes so we can try to get out of here earlier. Not that I don't love spending time in these meetings with all of you.
I mean, we don't even need to take a recess if everyone's okay.
Do you want to try and get Namaka?
Oh yeah, is it not okay out there? I'll try one more time and then.
I think it's Also, I'm so sorry if I seem stressed. Like, I've literally been planning a week or an event for like multiple months, and it's this week. And of course, everything's like coming up.
No worries.
She's not there.
No. All right, so what would you like to do?
I move to a 5-minute recess by unanimous consent.
Any objections to a 5-minute recess by unanimous consent? All right, see you all back at 5:29. I call this meeting back to order at 5:30 p.m. We'll do attendance once again.
Is LaFrance member at large?
Wilson Roberts, Majority Party Leader.
John Liu, member at large.
Joaquin Rafael Cesar Marcelino, Deputy Minority Party Leader.
And Nathan McGinnis, President Pro Tempore, with 6 members present. We have quorum. So, we'll go right along then to deliberations. First up is graduate. We have 8 open seats, 2 candidates. Whoa.
Oh. Then I shall yield to the Minority Party Leader.
All right, so for minutes and whatnot, Minority Party Leader Simone Liang is now replacing the Deputy Minority Party Leader Joaquin Marcelino.
Y'all have fun.
Thanks.
Joaquin, is this yours?
That is
Do you have access to Joaquin's notes and the applications?
Yes, I do have access to applications, and Joaquin did send me their notes.
All right, so sort of decided sort of thing, just so you're aware. Any sort of deliberation you have, please keep it solely to the application material and Joaquin's notes. And kind of just phrase it as, this is what Joaquin said, not necessarily your own opinion.
Okay.
All right, so like I said, we'll move on to graduate. We have 8 open seats, 2 applicants. Start off in attendance order, as we always do, with Senate President Santiago Perez.
Both applicants didn't really give me too many things for me to work with. Just a lot of vague information and ideas. Sadim was like the more the better candidate of the two, but I still would have liked to see more fleshed out ideas, because the main idea he had was just like reaching out to students for ideas, and like that's something that like we've already in this committee have not really looked favorably, or at least have really looked as a positive when considering candidates. So I'm not convinced by any of the 2 candidates for today.
All right.
For me, I didn't get much from Sadim. It just kind of seemed like, oh, I've written legislation and that could be helpful. Reach out to students, use the listserv, which were just kind of like very surface level. In terms of Bianca, I did appreciate like having connections to different groups that she is a part of with the grad school, with her respective grad school, and like what she's done. However, like personally, I would prefer a little bit more of like not just pertaining to organizations that she might be a part of, but grad students as a whole, considering it is like a whole grad student like seat and not just like whatever, your respective college might be. Of the 2, I personally would prefer Bianca, but I would like to see both come back with more fleshed out ideas. Agreed.
Yeah, I would just like to echo the sentiments of Senator Ponce, Member at Large Ponce, sorry. I think that both of them, they came in, they seemed, well, not both of them came in, but they both seemed like they had some ideas, but not exactly as fleshed out as we'd like them to be. I liked what Bianca had to say about her time with different grad organizations, but like she said, it did seem like she could have more substance there, so, still iffy.
I'm not gonna beat a dead horse. I agree with the sentiments that already have been made. Would love to see both elaborate more.
Yeah, I won't beat a dead horse. Based on the notes that my deputy had provided and also reviewing their written applications, both of them seemed to provide vague ideas that had broad implications with no specific ideas or methods of implementation. Bianca just mentioned being more bipartisan and more collaboration, but did not go further than that. And then for Sadim, their only ideas were talking about data surveying, which is great, but there should be more to that. So I would echo the sentiments that both of these candidates were not exceptional today.
Do you guys want my insight this week, or?
Maybe not on one that we all
I
kind
know,
of feel
but
the same about.
Yeah, I won't add anything to this one. I just mean for future
Okay.
ones. All right. Yeah, same stuff. So I'm looking for a motion.
I move to table this 8 open grad seats by unanimous consent. Excuse me.
Any objections to tabling the 8 open graduate seats by unanimous consent? Hearing none, that will be tabled, and we'll move right on to journalism. We had one candidate, one open seat, and rotating, we'll start with member at large Ponce.
So for my notes, I kind of wasn't super impressed with this candidate. I appreciate like them having been involved with the College of Journalism, considering that that's the seat that they are applying for. But considering that, like, just the things that are kind of like the main idea I picked up on from this interview was just like wanting to make equipment more available to film students, which I understand the value of that, absolutely. But I'm sure part of that does come from like funding and things like that, and I know that those equipment pieces are ridiculously expensive and not something that maybe like everyone should have access to without having like proper thorough training. So I personally, I think that's more of like an executive branch type thing. So I don't necessarily think that I feel comfortable approving them today.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that just the lack of ideas that were directly applicable to the Senate format and what we do kind of raises questions. And so I also wouldn't really feel comfortable with that today.
I think Jacob is very knowledgeable in what he does. However, his ideas and everything he talked about were extremely niche. Even he said it himself. He even said that like he knows that like what he does is very specific and very niche, which I applaud him for being passionate about like what he does and what he's done. I also realize that the CJC also contains a lot of other majors that also need representation.
I do agree that Jacob could have provided more solutions or addressed more of the other majors that are encompassed within the College of Journalism. However, I don't really understand the executive branch argument because these sorts of things that he's proposing in terms of equipment and also the data, I mean, just the use of ethical data, I think is totally within the prerogative of the Student Senate, and I do appreciate their extensive knowledge. And I think that their point about making equipment more accessible, not just for film majors, but for all students who, you know, have to interact with that sort of equipment was really important because I think it's inaccessible for a lot of students at this time, as they had mentioned, in their written application at least. So while I do agree that I would have liked to see more solutions targeted towards more majors in the college, I don't really necessarily agree with the executive branch argument.
I'll say I did like that Jacob's ideas were very specific to journalism, or at least the equipment one, but I would tend to agree with the feasibility argument, sort of, where it's how expensive is this equipment? What's the really feasibility of having people who don't require it for their education to have access to it? And then looking at the application specifically, Jacob talks about upgrading Duo to make it so you can use your fingerprint or face scanners. I know on certain devices you can do this and whatnot, but interesting idea, just sort of, once again, feasibility of doing this specifically within Senate. So, yeah.
Yeah, gonna echo many of the same points made by my pro temp. Albeit I think that it's great ideas. Like, I'm just worried about feasibility and how costly these projects may be. And then, yeah, in terms of do and push, I don't even know like how any of that like mechanisms work within our university. So something for me to do homework on in the future, I guess. But yeah.
All right. Any other further points or motions?
I move to table the open journalism seat by unanimous consent.
Any objections to tabling the open journalism seat? Hearing none, will be tabled, and we'll move right on to liberal arts and sciences. We have 2 seats and 4 applicants. Hello. For audio recording, Senator Rajmia enters the room, I'm assuming for peanut gallery purposes.
Hello.
All right, so class seat, 2 open spots 4 applicants, starting with Majority Party Leader Wilson. Or
Okay.
Roberts. Sorry.
Sorry. And just to be clear, our applicants for this are Christian Gibran, Max Kaplaman, Elizabeth
Swasti, I believe?
And Holden Zeichner?
Correct.
Okay, great. All right, well, looking at all these candidates, the one that stands out to me is just going to be Christian Gibran. I think that he had a lot of great ideas. I mean, he came in with an entire packet full of them. I thought that really made him stand out in a huge way. It showed passion for the position and eagerness to get into it and get right to work. I loved his why. He talked about seeing or having admiration for what different senators and student government leaders have done at the school for the student body. And so I thought he was just an outstanding applicant, and I'm going to throw my support behind him.
Yeah, look at this. There's no questions to ask. Christian Gibran deserves his seat. I think this is literally maybe his 10th time applying. That's not an exaggeration. But like, with that aside, just by his answers, it's like you could, like, when we asked like his why Senate, you can tell that not only does he keep it up, but he researches and looks at what Senate has done, how Senate has impacted the student body, talking about very specific pieces of legislation. And like, we always feel like, okay, like, we want this approved. I don't think for Christian there's much improvement that I expect from him or that he could possibly do, because it's like, I don't know what else we can ask him. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't really understand how there's any sort of progress or improvement. I don't need to see another handout. Again, this is probably like the 5th one he's handed out. Just because you put, what is this? A globe emoji, rocket ship emoji, doesn't mean that you are passionate or informative about these issues. All the ideas he proposed are vague or have already been addressed through multiple initiatives of our current student government. For example, the Sustainability Committee, we have already established the Green Caucus that is working on initiatives like that. We've already had a mental health ad hoc, and we've already established that things such as reducing waiting times or increasing the number of counselors is not within our prerogative as student government. It's just vague, bland ideas, and I'm not impressed in any way. As for the other candidates, I am also not impressed with them. From my notes that my deputy has given me, I see that for Elizabeth, her idea was mostly program focused with the female faculty panel. I'm also disappointed to see that Holden's application resembles the last 3 times he's applied, and there has been no change in ideas there besides the ballot initiatives and constitutional amendments, which are incredibly large and quite infeasible ideas. And for the other applicant, was it Max?
Yes.
There was also just no specific ideas, just compromise and transparency, which are incredibly abstract, and I doubt that an individual who has no experience in student government in the Senate can address those. So those are my thoughts on those candidates.
Yeah, so I'll go through the other ones first. See, specifically with Holden, again, same sort of ideas where, like, the constitutional amendment, said he read the Constitution looking through it, but I don't think he really did, because there is a whole section for students being able to submit their own amendments, and it's not just having the weight of a resolution, it is actually an amendment. It's just the way you submit it is through a resolution first, but it does become an amendment to be voted on. And then the other idea is 24-hour food services. I don't believe that's going to really happen on campus. Just dining hall hours, staff, whatnot. And there are, I know it's off campus, but like it's right next to campus. While it's 24 hours, there are options that I don't believe would be too much of a cost difference for students. And yeah, and then other ideas, same sort of thing. Max fortunately had to call because of work, but would say that sort of very broad, very hard to really see what's really going on. With Elizabeth, I do like her ideas, but I would echo the sort of point of it being program focused and not necessarily Senate focused. As far as Christian, yes, this is going to double digits of applications, but I feel like I've seen the same application every time. And that's not to say that Christian doesn't have some good ideas. Christian does, but like with this packet, it is nice when people bring out their packets and show us tangibly what they're trying to do. But what is this? I see a lot of Instagram captions and not necessarily anything to do with it. Just ideas without actually plans in this sheet, and I'd like to see if any application material to actually show what are you trying to do with this. As far as other ideas, sustainability, we're always working on that. We have the Green Caucus, mental health. That's something that Chairman Bowman and Chairman Cox have both been working hard to do and meeting a lot with that. And let me pull up the others. Ramps on any doors, braille signage, says I'd like to see housing really do that. And yeah, so and the other ideas we've talked about before in other RNA meetings were about feasibility and where they belong. And I haven't really seen a lot of improvement. I'd like for Christian to reach out whenever I email again for a specific feedback, because I do offer that every time, but I haven't yet. And I'd like to speak to him more about that. But other than that, I can't really say I've seen improvement.
All right. So I'll start off with Holden, the last one to interview. I think I addressed this the last time he applied, but I guess he brought it up again. He mentioned adding constitutional amendments via initiative, not necessarily as a referendum, because referendums, yes, they, per the 700 codes, they have the same effect as a resolution passed by the Senate. And then there are initiatives that have the same effect as student body statutes or student body law. There is no process for actually getting that submitted or approved, and I've tried to submit any legislation regarding that, but the Judiciary Committee seems to not like the idea of initiatives or something like that, but I digress. Anyway, adding constitutional amendments is found literally in Article trying to just pull out the Constitution real quick. It's part in Article 8, I believe. Yes, it is. Article 8, Section 2, proposal by initiative. Students may propose amendments to the Constitution upon a submission of a petition to the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, joined by 10% of the electorate, not later than 28 days before the ratification election. Each amendment proposed shall embrace only one subject and matter directly connected to that subject. I don't know what else to say regarding that. I mean, it's literally right there. Sure, is the threshold super high? Yep. I've tried also submitting constitutional amendments to lower that threshold to just 5%. Also blocked in judiciary, but I digress on that point again. Free laundry service for all. That is an initiative that would cost over $1 million. I've done the crunching of the numbers for such a project, and very, very gargantuan, very huge task, needless to say. And the 24 hours food service area, I mean, I think the Pro Tem Board addressed that pretty well. Elizabeth, pretty good idea, like overall interview, but the female faculty panel, I'm just like, okay. There wasn't much, there wasn't much, who is she gonna contact, there wasn't much of that, and I don't really know if that's, again, within the purview of Senate to really have that senator panel. Sounded something more like an executive branch kind of program that they would try to coordinate. There's that. And then Max talked about a compromise bill for a 24/7 Lib West. I mean, I feel like that's the idea was well-intentioned, but it really does not capture the intricacies and the complexities of how the libraries function and the funding that goes into having a library be 24/7. I think that would love to see him try to come back with other ideas. Seems to be pretty well experienced and well-rounded. And for Christian Gibran, I feel like, yeah, this is his 10th whatever interview, but I really see, I mean, we've denied him multiple times before, and I'm sure the majority party leader hasn't been here for much of the summer when Christian Gibran came in multiple times, but I feel like I've seen this exact same packet like 20,000 times at this point, and it's ridiculous that I'm still seeing this graphic that, I mean, it's cute, it'd be nice, but like, I don't see how this is exactly improving upon his past interviews. I mean, yeah. You can go ahead.
Oh, excuse me. I feel like everything that could have been said's been said, so I'm not going to waste anyone's time.
All right. For that, I'm looking for either further deliberations or a motion.
I move to table all the open College of Liberal Arts and Sciences seats by unanimous consent.
Any objections to tabling 2 liberal arts and sciences seats by unanimous consent? Hearing none, that'll be done. Move right on to budget. 1 seat, we had 3 applications, but 1 was a no-show, so there's only 2 people to consider. And we'll start with Member at Large Lou, whenever you're ready.
Looking over my notes, I don't think, based on those theories, I don't see anyone of these people. I'm not comfortable with approving any of these people onto the budget committee. And right now, I'm not really in a rush to approve anyone for budget because Big Five's already been done. And I think there are more qualified applicants, or I'd love to see them come back with more detailed and drawn out explanations of their answers.
Yeah, based on the notes from my deputy, I do think there's a basic knowledge for Hanali of the process of getting student org funding, but I would like to see more ideas related to that committee. And then for Abigail Whitaker, I think the same sort of issues and characteristics of, you know, having that experience with a budget and finance, but I would have liked to see just more ideas on that.
Yeah, I'd say both had pretty good experiences related to, or decent, I'd say, where Anna's has more of the organizations for experience, while Abigail has sort of more real-life fiscal experience, but with the actual ideas, I didn't really see any standout either way. Let me see. With Abigail's, are just sort of reaching out to experts, and I don't really see that as we've kind of heard that with multiple committees, like sort of suggestions, reaching out to people to kind of speak to a committee, and like that's kind of nice. But like, if I'd like to see like ideas of how to improve the committee as a whole, not sort of a one-time sort of thing. I did like Anna's ideas a little bit more, where it's trying to teach student organizations how to track their budget through SAI more, but like I feel like we also have packets for that. We have sort of resources for that. And then increasing base funding is kind of more of a overall budget thing, not necessarily a budget committee sort of thing. So either way, I'd like to see better ideas. So yeah.
I think the pro tem board summarized it pretty well. I'm not going to dwell on this too much, but both of them have pretty good experiences from different backgrounds, but the ideas kind of just didn't really hit the mark for me. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, everything I would say has been said.
Yep, same here.
All right.
Sorry, you guys.
No worries.
You guys just
there's no need to waste anybody anyone's time.
All right, so do I hear a motion?
I move to table the open Budget and Appropriations Committee seats by unanimous consent.
Any objections to tabling the Budget and Appropriation seat by unanimous consent? Hearing none, it will be tabled, and we'll move on to Information Communications. 3 open seats, and we had 2 applicants. And this time we'll start with Minority Party Leader Simone Liang.
Yeah, I liked the idea. I'm reviewing her in application of doing the Senate takeovers on the Instagram. I don't think there's many opportunities for students to sort of see and hear from them on the work that they're doing, since a lot of them don't really interact with us when we're doing in-person tabling. And so I think that's a really great idea to, you know, stay engaged with the students and also, you know, update them in a fun way of what legislation we've been working on. I also think that she would be a valuable addition to the committee because she has that marketing experience for multiple organizations here on campus. And then I am reviewing the other candidates' application. I'm not really sure because I already submitted a Rules and Procedures amendment that was approved by this chamber to do the monthly newsletter. I don't even know if that first one has been submitted yet or been sent out, but that was codified already, so that idea is moot because it's already been implemented. And that was the only sort of idea that they proposed, so I wasn't too impressed with at least the written application portion. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go in order. Yeah, I feel like out of the 2, I like Hannah's application for, not the 2 candidates, out of her 2 applications for budget and I&C. I like Hannah's application for that a little bit more. I feel like she has better ideas with it about trying to make it more interactive. I know we've heard the idea a lot. We've heard kind of the idea for increasing the amount of time Why Senate Wednesdays happens, or like Instagram takeovers. We've heard similar ideas, but it still hasn't been implemented, and I feel like that's a good sort of thing. Sorry, I have so many tabs open. With Annabelle Vigna, I'd say it didn't stand out as much, but I enjoyed it. I know that the newsletter is sort of something that's happening in place. It's currently in action, but sort of the overall general idea about it, I kind of like the idea, but out of the 2, I'd say Hannah's I prefer more.
I'll start with Annabella. I believe she was on the committee before, but obviously she wasn't here over summer. But the monthly, I think her main idea was the monthly newsletter, and so I mean, if she had gone more to the route of like what she would want to see in the newsletter or whatnot, I feel like what more to add to it or how to like streamline the process for it, I feel like that would have been more in line with, you know, what I would expect or would have liked to see, but she just mentioned it like as it didn't exist, and I feel like I'm not sure if she has caught up with how our rules have been amended, and so I would love for her to come back, but right now nothing really stood out for me there. For Hannah, I mean, I also enjoyed the ideas regarding the Senate takeovers, and I know that the Senate Instagram has been kind of lacking in terms of like posting, so I think that White Senate Wednesdays would be a good way to start re-engaging with with our constituents, and so I mean, yeah, up to 2, I would prefer Hannah, but yeah.
I really appreciate the fact that Annabella was on the committee before and like wants to come back, but if I'm being honest, like I just wasn't super enthused by either. I think that they could have both been stronger, and I just don't know that I feel comfortable with either one of them today.
Yeah, for me, neither applicant really had any ideas that made me feel as though we needed them on this committee now. So I would love to see either of them come back with, I don't know, maybe fresher, more pressing ideas that could benefit the committee. But as of now, I wouldn't want to have either of them on there.
Yeah, like I expected more from Annabella, seeing that she's already been on the committee, and on the other hand, I just wasn't really like nothing sense.
All right. So with that, I'm looking for a motion.
I move to table both of the information and communications seats by unanimous consent.
I object.
Okay. Do you hear any further motions?
I move to approve Hannah Ali for the Open Information and Communications Committee seat.
All right, so we'll go voting order then of deliberations, starting with,
Yes.
and I'll reserve until the end.
Sure. Yeah.
No.
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 And I will abstain from this, and so that motion fails. Any further motions?
I move to table the I&C committee seats by unanimous consent.
Any objections? Hearing none, both seats will be tabled. Let me do this right. And with that, we'll move on to the rules and ethics candidate. We had 2 applicants sign up, but only one showed up. It's not updated. All right, 1 second.
Am I starting? Or?
I'm starting.
Oh, okay.
It
I was
just-
like confused for a sec because I don't know, awkward silence.
Sorry, no, I was just pulling this up. So with the candidate, sorry, I am so frazzled right now. Okay, so with Abigail, yeah, with Abigail, she has good experience, whatnot. Her main idea, I believe, the only idea I really remember, unless someone corrects me, was about the voter record at the end of the meeting. That's been addressed in a bill that was passed last week, Agenda Reform Act, where 10 minutes prior to the space closing, that any, wait, am I correct on this? Well, this has been addressed
Oh, I
in,
signed it, yeah.
yeah, that's been addressed in the Agenda Reform Act and sort of practice we've been doing, where already addressed this at the end of the meeting, so I don't really feel this as a strong new idea for R&E, and so I'd like to see better ones for that, but that's all I'll have to say.
Real quick, Oscar, before you start, on that last vote, Nathan, did you abstain or?
I abstained, yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
Have fun.
Struggling out here.
Glad it's not me.
Yeah.
So glad we do know it's good, but
It's just always the last person.
And technically as vice chair.
Oh, but he was so willing. So I really don't want to take away the pride and joy that he is receiving from doing this. Like it's really okay. No issues whatsoever.
fair enough.
Promise.
Yeah, I think again, I'm pretty sure Abby's only idea was regarding voter record corrections, and like, sure, while the current the rule change with the Agenda Reform Act says that the chair can either allow the current business to conclude or proceed to the announcements section. I mean, it's kind of like informally there because typically the announcements section is used to do voter record corrections. So I feel like that's already an issue that's been addressed, and considering that was her only idea, I don't feel comfortable approving her for this committee.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree with Senate President. I just think that like, if something that's already been approved is your idea, like while it might be like a good valid idea, if it's already a thing, that's just a little unoriginal. Not necessarily like, I don't mean to be rude in saying that. Just
No,
like,
yeah.
like it's already a thing. You know, you can't really do anything about that now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. You know, some of the ideas were not really on the mark, so I wouldn't be opposed to table.
I'm also into Canada.
Yeah, I won't review anything when everyone said. So.
All right, any motions?
I move to table the Rules and Ethics Committee seat by unanimous consent.
Any objections? All right, the Rules and Ethics seats, all 4 of them, I'm assuming, will be tabled. And then we'll move to creating the agenda. Before we go on to, yes.
Just a point of information. What information are we like have to put on the agenda that's sent from executive nominations? I think I'm on the email, but I just want to like triple check.
It was sent to all of us.
Yes, it's 1 executive nomination, 1 cabinet nomination, judicial nomination, but it's pending judiciary, and then all the university committees.
Yeah, I noticed in the email that Liv sent us, like a lot of the people have been approved. Like,
Yeah.
for example, with TAPS, like John Brinkman, Gamaya Germany, Jeremy Fuentes have been all approved, and I think Clementine de la Cruz has also been approved for persons with disabilities. So, just like, I guess make note of that when putting.
Just be aware when we put it onto the agenda.
Yeah, so that we don't have people again that are already been approved.
What do you mean? You don't want to give them 2 seats? You can get double the fun.
I don't know. Can you occupy 2 seats at the same time?
Really? I feel like if you put your mind to it. But you know, I'm gonna leave that for somebody else.
All right, so start off, before we get into all that, I'd like to address vetoed legislation first. Budget Chairman Cox specifically recommended that we put the budget veto at the top of the agenda because this would be the last meeting to address that within the timeline that we have. And so I would like for a motion regarding that.
So I'm not going to make a motion with that yet. I'm just going to make the faculty senate presentation motion first. So I think that technically speaking, per our governing documents and rules of procedures, we can, like, public comment does not have to occur until, like, hold on. Public comment must be held before any pending legislation or nominations are heard. So technically, we could have the faculty senate presentation after, like, roll call.
Okay.
So that, because I know that Dr. Wright has, like, is a busy person and doesn't want to stay there too long, and I know she left. Once she was notified that there were 18 people speaking in public comment, she decided to email Ronan back saying, like, I'm not gonna, go. Thank you for letting me know. So if we are okay with just having Dr. Wright after roll call, I think that would be the best way to proceed with her presentation.
Yeah. So I tend to agree with that.
I think that's fair.
Another thing I want to bring up is, like, with time and with us trying to hear all the videos in the budgets, does the special rule from, like, the faculty senate nominations and stuff from last week, will that roll over, or do we have to make another special rule?
It would have
You have to add it again.
Yeah,
Because I was saying, in sake of time, can we just make it to where we, like, whoever gets nominated, and then we vote? Instead of time, because, like, I can see this, like, electronic pro-conning taking up, like, another hour, and seeing that the budget bill has to be heard, and seeing that there's also other veto bills and readings I would like to get to, I just think for the sake of time, that's the best way to approach
that. Whatever special rule we decide to adopt, that can be.
I move to have the faculty senate chair presentation be after roll call on the agenda by unanimous consent.
Any objections to having the faculty senate chair presentation held after roll call on the agenda by unanimous consent? Hearing none, that'll be done. Let me do that real quick. All right.
I'll just set the time. I move to set the time, date, and location for the next Senate meeting to be September 12th, 2023 at 7:30 p.m. in the Rights Union Senate Chamber by unanimous consent.
Any objections to saying the time, date, and location? Hearing none, that'll be done.
Follow up. I move to add the statement from on the top of the agenda from Rule 3 by unanimous consent.
Any objections to adding the statement at the top of the agenda by unanimous consent? Hearing none, that'll be added.
I move to have third readings be held after amendments to the agenda by unanimous consent.
Any objections to having legislation under third reading be held after amendments to the agenda by unanimous consent?
No.
All right.
I have a
be
motion
added.
after that.
Yes.
I have a follow-up.
Go for it.
Follow-up.
And then I move to have the budget bill be heard first in third readings by unanimous consent.
All right. Any objections to having the budget veto be heard first under the legislation under third readings by unanimous consent? Hearing none, that'll be done. All right, do you have any follow-ups? Do you have any further follow-ups?
Yeah, I move to add the absences from rules and ethics under absences by unanimous consent.
I don't believe there are any new ones, but we can make the motion just in case.
Okay.
So any objections? Hearing none, all absences will be added.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to have any bills requiring second readings from last week to be added under second readings by unanimous consent.
Any objections to having all the bills from second reading? Hearing none, that'll be done.
And follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to add bills that are approved by judiciary today under first reading by unanimous consent.
Any objections to adding any legislation approved by judiciary today? Hearing none, that'll be done. Any follow-ups?
I move, follow-up.
Follow-up?
I move to add the university committees under RNA recommendations by unanimous consent.
Any objections to adding the university committees? Nominations? Hearing none, that'll be done. Any follow-ups?
I move to add Julia Vandenberger pending judiciary by unanimous consent to RNA recommendations.
Any objections to adding the judicial nomination to the agenda? Hearing none, that'll be added. Any follow-up?
Are you getting done?
I think that is all I have for now.
I move to add Pace Affairs, also Brett Meyer to the agenda under cabinet nominations or executive nominations by his consent.
Any objections? Hearing none, the cabinet nomination will be added.
I move to add Gators Going Green agency head Samantha Simon to the agenda under executive nominations.
Is that by vote or?
By vote.
All right. So there is a vote for adding the executive nomination for Gators Going Green. And we'll start with the maker of the motion.
Yes.
Majority Party and Minority Party Leader Liang.
No.
Senate President?
No.
Member at large?
Yes.
Yes.
And I will vote no, and that is a tie, and that motion fails. Let's see.
So that's legislation.
Point of information,
Yes.
and we've added all the university committees onto the agenda, and then we're just going to take out the ones that have already been approved from last week.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So let's see, we have nominations addressed, we have the faculty presentation addressed, we have the vetoed legislation, absences, bills under second reading, and bills that will be under first reading.
Yeah. And then the faculty senate election or
Yes.
voting thing. Yeah.
So, do I hear?
Wait, was there a motion to add those?
There is no motion yet to add the faculty senate elections, delegate elections. Anyone would like to make that motion?
I would like to add faculty senate elections to the agenda by unanimous consent.
Is there a specific place you'd like to add it?
Where has it been in the past?
In the past, it was,
After
last time it was after the president's report.
I would like for it to be heard after the budget bill, if there's a space for that. Where would you recommend me putting that?
I would recommend, instead of doing budget veto specifically, doing it after third readings.
Okay, so can I resend that motion?
Yes.
And then I motion to add faculty senate elections after third readings.
Is that by unanimous consent?
By unanimous consent.
I object.
All right. Do you have a follow-up motion regarding that then?
No.
All right. Would you like to remake that motion?
Yes. I've moved to add faculty senate elections after third reading by roll call vote.
All right. We'll start in the same order.
No.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
I abstain. So that motion passes with a vote of 3 to 2 to 1.
I was just gonna suggest to put it up to RNA recommendations, but that's fine. It is what it is.
We're not going to get to that. All right.
I
And would
have
you
a
like to?
motion.
Yes.
I move to add a special rule to have the elections follow the same format as the elections for members at large, with the 5 minutes of presentation, 2 minutes of, or is it 5 minutes of Q&A? 2 minutes of Q&A, and then 2 rounds of pro-con debate.
Is that by unanimous consent or by vote?
My vote.
All right. We'll start with the maker of the motion.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
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 Abstain. The motion passes with a vote of 5 to 0 to 1.
What was all that motion?
It was to add a special rule to have the elections for the faculty senate delegate follow the same format as the elections for members at large, with the 5 minutes of presentation, 2 minutes of Q&A, and then 2 rounds of pro-con debate.
And are you okay if I just reword it the same as last week, as follow the same procedures Senate officer elections?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll add that same special rule.
Just put it up to be 2 minutes of Q&A rather than, because it's 5 and the rules.
Oh, okay.
And add the pro-con.
Nathan, did you vote on that?
I abstained from that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so it's technically not the same procedure then, so. So would you like to repeat the minutes for each?
Yeah. So it's not the same format as the member at large elections.
With those specific timings now.
Okay. Okay, well, I moved to add a special rule for the faculty senate delegate nominations to include 5 minutes of presentation, 2 minutes of Q&A, and 2 alternating rounds of pro-con debate.
How many minutes are the pro-con?
You
2.
didn't specify, so.
I have to make a follow-up motion, unless someone would like to read it, to change the special rule to follow.
Wait, so point of information.
Yes.
What is the what is the format for the member at large elections?
Let me pull that up.
It's, I can answer.
You can.
It's 5 minutes presentation, 5 minutes Q&A, and then it's a rising vote.
Someone knock.
There's someone out there. It's a ghost.
Yeah, 5 minutes presentation, 5 minutes Q&A.
It's not present.
Yeah, but it follows the same.
No, because it's a roll call vote.
Yeah, but so it's the same thing.
No, it's not.
I know it's majority, but
Rising vote is different.
so would someone like to specify the minutes for is it con-pro or pro-con?
Con-pro.
And then it's a majority vote.
5 minutes presentation, 2 minutes Q&A.
2 rounds of con pro debate, and then a majority vote.
I move to have the special rule for faculty senate delegates be, the debate be of 2 minutes of length by unanimous consent.
Any objections to making the rounds of con pro debate be 2 minutes each? Hearing none, that'll be done. What's the right way of formatting this? All right. You said it's 2 minutes each?
Yeah.
All right. I do not believe there's a need for any further motions.
What about the Senate, the faculty Senate alternate?
I'm including in the same.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay, from now on, if we don't get to anything, we don't have to make any of these motions. Go Ara.
Yeah, so with that then, I adjourn this meeting at 6:22 p.m.